Yeah, that's perfect, guys. Yeah. Yeah, think about like where your knee is, I guess. Eli's knee. Go with Eli's knee. Yeah.
So my role is the assistant stage manager.
We design, source, and then like buy the costumes, we organize them, we maintain them, we take care of measurements, and we're usually always here for every show or rehearsal that we need to be in case of tears or stuff like that. You know, we do a little bit of everything in the costume department.
So I work as one of the co-scening designers in Stagecraft 2, which means I work with my other co-scening designer, and we do sketches for the sets for the play and the musical, and then I take those sketches and I turn them into construction documents using AutoCAD, and then those are given to Stagecraft 1 and Stagecraft 2, who build the set, and it's all assembled with the help of Mike, who is our technical director.
And I got into theater from a young age. I always wanted to act, but I was a little too shy to act in elementary school. And then when I got to high school, I figured to myself, why not take a stagecraft class?
First was in the acting class in 6th grade, and then our first show, which was She Kills Monsters, I figured, I'll just do tech to ease myself into it, since it will probably be a little less work. Looking back, actors with me, I understand there's a lot of work, but I made friends in tech. And then I realized I gotta stay with these friends. So I've just been in tech ever since.
I was asked by Sierra and Kelly to join the class because they needed people to take the class, and yeah. I joined tech because I had previously done GMS TV at Graham when I was in middle school, and I was like, well, maybe I should find something else to do now that I'm not in middle school. And so I was like, this sounds fun, and so I signed up, and there I was.
Well, Stagecraft starts, your first year of Stagecraft is really more of a set construction kind of oriented class. You are learning the basics of understanding set construction documents. So what happens is when the class starts off, we go through safety, what are the flies, how to climb a ladder, how to use a nail gun, how to use a hammer, how to use impact driver, how to use miter saws, circ saws, really kind of going through the nuts and bolts of how the tools that we use so that the students aren't getting injured.
Stagecraft 2 was a little bit of a invite-only class at the time, and I've been participating enough in theater where all the sort of people doing their things, start recognizing the faces, and I'm very glad that we had a period during our school to both hang out but also be able to work on our stuff in class, because we definitely put in the amount of time and effort that we need for it to be a class.
The idea of Stagecraft 2 came up when I was in my acting class, and Mr. Morris brought up how they needed someone from costumes to be a representative in the Stagecraft 2 class, because the plan was that Stagecraft 2 would be leadership roles. So I skipped Stagecraft 1 and just went immediately into Stagecraft 2.
Stagecraft 2 is the next step within the process. It's more of a design leadership course. So those students, they've been through Stagecraft 1, or they have audited the class, meaning that they've said, I've done this, I've worked in these shows on campus, I have the experience. I think it's more beneficial for me to take a step up in the class than to go repeat.
I feel like every day is a little unique. The first thing when it starts 7th period is, where do we even go? Sometimes we have to go to the classroom, sometimes we go to the shed, sometimes we go to the theater where I'm in.
I worked on the set for HSM and also the set for the one act that went to festival recently, which was a pretty hectic project. We definitely used a lot of class time during Stagecraft to help build that, because we had 4 days to do it.
There was the one act, fully costumed up by myself, with the help of Maeve, obviously, but majority designing was all by myself. All the orders and plans were made by myself.
That was my first time actually going on a field trip. I've been to theater festivals before in college as a student. And that's a different kind of environment to what we experienced. I think it was really incredible to watch both you write this amazing show and the students design the show around it. It really kind of became this experience for you guys of just creating something from nothing all on your own.
Me, on the other hand, I don't have a specific task that I'm always working on. I usually try to finish something within that day. That could just be oh, as I mentioned before, we have to regel the lights.
I'm here sooner. I can set up much earlier, and I can also I can help out others in that sense.
I think the community in the class is really great. Everyone is really dedicated. We all work on our own projects, and it's a good atmosphere in general because you'll be doing one thing, maybe you can see people in the class doing another thing. It's kind of a nice vibe, I'd say. You're all working on this show together, and it's a good atmosphere.
And then rarely we'll have meetings where we'll be okay, we have a big thing coming up. Let's regroup, refocus, figure out our priorities, and how do we respond from there.
Any moment that I was feeling particularly stressed, I was reminded that I will have time to work on it in class. I guess also just there were some moments where I'd be stressed out because some people weren't communicating back with me in certain ways and all of that. And the class was a nice way for me to just be it's okay, relax, everything's gonna be fine. There are people here that are all very supportive and very nice.
It gives you the opportunity to work more with people and kind of work on leadership, and it also gives you a lot of time in class to work on your projects. Instead of being working completely after school, you get time in class, which is 3 hours a week, which is a lot of time, especially if you're cramming to finish a design or your documents. So it's very helpful. It's a good community too. I really enjoy that.
The best part is the people. We're all very motivated. We all like working together. We're all there for a singular purpose, and I think that makes this class much better than a normal high school class where maybe kids don't want to go to their English class, don't want to go to their math class, but everyone wants to come to stagecraft.
It is nice to have teachers act so I can immediately ask questions about certain things. There's extra people here to help out and stuff, and I can collaborate with other people if we're trying to figure out things lighting for a costume, palettes for scenes so that way clothes don't blend into the background.
Athena is, as I said, my set designer. She's the best. I love her. We work together so well. She's so fun to have around. I think I would be very sad if I was designing sets without her because it would be a lot more boring and a lot more sad.
It's a time commitment. Like any other thing, once you make friends in it and they're really good friends, it's difficult for you to leave it. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Mike is hilarious, even though it doesn't seem like that. He's really awesome.
Well, Mike has a great sense of humor. Completely unrelated, but I love his sense of humor. He's the person you go to if you have a problem. He always has some sort of solution or some workaround. They always try to do what's best for the students. They will fight for the students. They will make sure that they're getting as good of an education experience as possible. And I think that says a lot about a person and a teacher.
Honestly, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. He knows what he's doing. And if you ask Charlotte and Athena, they might get more real and stuff.
I went to Mike, I showed him hey, what do you think of this? And he would give me feedback. He'd be like, oh, you have to put this here instead, and that's not gonna work. So you have to move it at a 90-degree angle. And it's definitely very nice because they give you feedback and you get to learn a lot because they're experienced professionals in their field, and so therefore you get to learn a bit from what they've actually had experience in life and their careers, basically. I
can give kind of a general idea, and I can just have a student try it. They're going to learn something, and it's there's going to be circumstances where they're just going to be lost, and I'll step back in and help. But Stagecraft 2 is kind of like that. Perfect example is working with Athena and Charlotte, our set design girls. They have, I give them a concept. We sit down, we go through the show, and I go, this is kind of what I'm thinking. This is how I think we should approach it, not only from an aesthetic point of view, but a practical point of view of what is accomplishable. And they sit down and they start sketching things out with me. We work together and I go, okay, I like that. I don't think that's possible. And a lot of times they're coming up with ideas that I'm just not going to come up with. And I think that's really a fantastic opportunity for students to have that ability to be given a project and approach it in the way they want to approach. It's so much more meaningful. It gives them ownership over something instead of feeling like it's a responsibility. They are empowered to create.
I love him, honestly. He is a great teacher. He got me into some connections with another costume person. So while Mike himself might not be the most costume fashion person, he's still an amazing guy. And I'm teasing these people. I'm teasing him a lot. He's really, really a good guy. I have a lot of respect for him. And I mean, every time working with him has been fun. Driving up to him with Theater Festival, really fun. He got me connected with a lot of people who are getting me connected to even more people.
Currently, I'm working on the Dance Spectrum showcase. Even though that's not what I would consider theater, I'm still able to get a chance of this to help out with this amazing performance because I have the skills that I learned from stagecraft.
We're all really welcoming and really nice here. Again, it's a big time commitment. And it's gonna take some time to figure out what you really enjoy or what you really like. It could be making props, it could be a cure, but after some time, eventually, if you really enjoy it and you put the work into it, you're gonna have a good time.
I think I'm pretty satisfied. I enjoy working with Lena and Mike, and it's fun to, finally sit back and go, hey, we built this, it's done, and now we have a set that went from a drawing to diagrams to pieces of random wood, and now it's real and it's there. And it's a really great experience to get to see it come together,
I would definitely recommend this class to anyone who sounds vaguely interested in either just projects in general. There's so much that has to be done in terms of just like daily stuff and overarching. I think that if you're looking for an easy class to like not do things, this is not the class for you. There's other electives for that. But I love working on projects. I love being able to just like put my focus on something and have a group of people around me that also put their focus on similar things and while working together. I think you do have to be on top of yourself. You have to be able to manage your time well because this is a very free class. They let you say, oh, I need to work on a project, then you can work on that project.
We have one that is a front of house engineer on Broadway, and she's been doing that for 10 years. We have some that are in Las Vegas working with Cirque du Soleil. We have others that are on tour with bands, some that work for NBC Universal, others that are teaching in colleges. And those are students who I spent years with, from when they came in as freshmen and left as seniors, and found that this was something that really attached to them and that they wanted to pursue as a career. And those are my biggest accomplishments, that they have carried through in an industry, and they've been given the tools that are truly needed to be successful in a high school. That was nothing. When I was in high school, I wasn't provided that. The stage was just this pile of junk, basically, that had mirrors all across the back, so you could see backstage. And as students, you guys get this amazing theater that you get to work with new technology. You get to do all these things, and that's awesome. I love that. That's the best part of my job.